What's up guys, so I got this Honda GX270 here, and this thing came off of that pressure washer over there. Now it has an oil leak and it was leaking out of the bottom somewhere. I couldn't exactly pinpoint where it was, so I took the engine off of that cart. I took the pump off of the engine. In order to determine where that oil leak was coming from, I took this engine and sit it right here on this towel. I was hoping it would be something simple, like it might have been leaking out of one of these drain plugs, but that's not the case. We can see all that oil is right here, which is underneath this side cover or case cover gasket. No worries though, we got our brand new case cover gasket here. Here is the part number if you would like to see that. Now I'm going to be showing you exactly how to get that replaced. Now this should be a fairly simple process. The first thing we got to do is get the oil out of this engine. So I have it sitting up on blocks, and then I have my oil drain pan underneath it, and I'm going to loosen that 12mm drain plug. I just replaced this oil, so I only have an hour of runtime on it. So I am going to be putting it back in this engine once that gasket is replaced. I'm going to get the drain plug back in this thing, and then I'm going to take it back over to the workbench. I'm going to take this little block of wood here and just stick it underneath this engine like so, and that'll just lean this back so all the oil drains back here and it won't be dripping out when I remove this cover. We can now remove these 12mm bolts around this cover. There are 7 of them. I'm going to be using this rubber mallet. I'm going to see if I can't tap this cover off. Now that wasn't too bad to take off. The only thing that fell out was this little guide pin here, and there's a guide pin that goes in here, and there's another one that goes up here. So this guy fell out, so we'll have to be sure to put that back in. Now I'm going to be taking a razor blade and I'm going to clean up all this old gasket. And I'm also going to take this rag and just kind of put it around these gears here and try to keep most of that gasket material out of this engine. So now that I have all that gasket off of the block and all that's cleaned up real nice, I'm gonna be doing the exact same thing to this cover. And definitely take your time with this whole process. Don't dig into the aluminum with your razor blade, and the cleaner you can get this surface, the better seal you're gonna get and the longer this repair is gonna last. So just be patient, take your time, clean her up real nice. Everything's all cleaned up, so once I got all the gasket off, I did take Scotch-Brite and just go around this edge extremely lightly just to get all the little stuff off, and I did the exact same thing for this block here. And then I just used some pre-paint prep and I cleaned up this edge just to get the oil off, and I also did the same for the block here. So I think we're ready to put the gasket on. And we can go ahead and install our gasket. Those pins will hold that on. Now's the time to double check this cover and this engine. Make sure you got all that gasket material out. Once you're sure you did so, we can go ahead and slide this back on. As I'm putting this cover on, I'm going to watch the gasket, make sure it doesn't fall off or do anything funky. I want that perfectly flat as this cover goes on. And also, do not force this cover on. You may have to pull the rope, turn the engine over a little bit to get everything to mesh up, but lightly tap this until it is fully seated. Our cover is completely closed the entire way around this thing, so that's looking good. Now if you have a little bit of a gap in between that cover and the block, you need to get that addressed now. Do not use the bolts to pull that cover on. If it's not going on, there's a reason for it, so get that addressed. Once you get that fully seated, now we can put our bolts in and we'll torque them down. I can go ahead and torque these bolts down now, and I am going to be torquing them in a star pattern, and that way it'll just draw this cover on nice and evenly. I'm going to start with a lower torque, but I'm going to work my way up to a final torque of 18 foot-pounds, and that's also equal to 216 inch-pounds. And the very last step is to put the oil back in this thing, and then we'll fire it up and see if she leaks. So pressure washer is put back together, and in the past this cover, when it leaked, it would drip all down here and it would run down this frame. Now I took this out and I ran it for about 15 minutes and we are perfectly dry, so we are good to go. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you when the next thing breaks.